let's talk about finding a midpoint on a number line. Okay, to find the coordinate, when you're on a number line you have coordinates, locations. Okay, for example here the location of this point is at -4. So to find the coordinate of the midpoint of a segment, you're going to find the average or mean. The average is actually the mean of its endpoints, or the coordinates of its endpoints. Okay? So to find the mean, you learned that back in algebra, maybe middle school math, the mean is when you add them all up and divide by how many there are. So to find the mean of two endpoints, segments always have two endpoints, you're going to find their sum, you're going to add them, and divide it by 2. Okay, because you have two endpoints. Okay, so it's a pretty simple, very simple formula. Okay, let's try some examples. The first example says, what is the coordinate of the midpoint of the segment graphed below? So here's my segment. I know that one way to do it, I've seen students do this, and it's valid, is they just keep going until they find the halfway point. Okay? It is helpful to understand and be able to use the formula sometimes, so let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to take the two endpoints, so that's at -4 and 3. We're going to first find their sum, so -4 plus 3, and then we're going to divide it, so I'm going to put the whole thing over 2. If I'm using a calculator, I need to do this math first. So -4 plus 3, you actually are finding the difference because one's positive, one negative. You have more negative, so you get -1. Divide by 2. So it's going to be -1/2. If you use a calculator, you're going to get -0.5. Alright? It's always a good idea, really simple step is to go and put that on your number line and make sure you like it, that it looks like a midpoint. So halfway between 0 and -1 would be right here. That would be my midpoint. And that looks pretty good to me, right? Because this is 1, 2, 3.5, 1, 2, 3.5. Yep, I like what that looks like. So the midpoint was that. I'm going to go ahead and leave it as a fraction. Okay, let's try the next example. It says find the coordinate of the midpoint of the segment graphed below. So same question. This time they're both negatives. Again, I know I can just, find the halfway point, but I'm going to go ahead and use the formula. I'm going to first add my two endpoints, -7 plus -1, and then I'm going to take that sum, so after I finish adding this, I'm going to divide it by 2. So -7 plus -1, they're all negative, so I'm going to add them this time. It's going to -8 divided by 2. A negative divided by a positive is -4. Okay? Before I circle and finalize that answer, I'm going to go to my picture, find -4, put the midpoint there, and make sure it looks good. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, I like it. Looks good. So this is my midpoint at -4.